Welcome to the Projection Project. My name is Rain. I'm your super awesome, epic, and cool host. And today I have back with me Olivia.
Hello.
Still the same. Hello.
I'm back.
Yeah,
You
I'm
all
back again.
all missed me so much.
In like the
10
week. What?
Said you 10 people.
The 2 weeks time span you've been gone. I was like, oh my god, Olivia, yeah.
Mm-hmm. As usual.
How does it feel to be back?
You know, it feels really good. I really I'm honored.
Wow, you're the only guest who's been here now for a second time.
I know. I needed an award.
To be honest, this is all on accident. This was not supposed to happen. Anyway, anyway, we would like to state again in this episode, somehow it's always only us that this has happened, that we have never shifted before. At this current time, early November, neither of us have shifted in this episode.
That is changing tonight.
Yeah, that is changing tonight. We're shifting, and so are you guys.
Exactly.
Booyah. Mic drop. Kapow. So obviously Olivia was here a couple weeks ago. And we had talked about generally like our shifting journeys a little bit, but it was more method based. This episode, we're going to talk about like things that helped us along the way other than just methods. So what were some, so far, refresh us. How long have you been trying to shift now that it's November?
So, big news. It's my 1 year
Woo!
of not learning about shifting, but of trying to shift. It's been a year. So I think that means it's time to shift. So that's going to happen tonight. But yeah, it's been a year.
Welcome to the party. It's obviously for me, I said the last time we'd filmed that it had been over a year for me. It's still over a year. Obviously.
How's it back in time?
For anyone who's like curious at this point in time, it's been a year and I like probably almost 2 months. But it doesn't matter because we're shifting tonight.
So are you.
So are you guys. If you listen to this, I'm manifesting. If you listen to this, you're shifting tonight.
Yep.
So what are some things on your year shifting journey that have helped you, that you feel have helped you the most, not method based?
Taking breaks is a big one, but also putting in effort just in general.
Yeah, it's like something about not putting in effort.
No, like taking a break and then just like semi-trying ain't gonna get you there. Like, but putting in, because I once took a break and then I tried a new meditation. We've been on a lot of breaks. But I took a break and then I tried a new meditation. I tried a new subliminal and I got really close that night and I had this really vivid lucid dream that I think I could have, well, not lucid dream technically, but like it was a dream that I think I could have shifted through. I don't know where I was going, but
well, you were like kind of like adding evidence to it.
Yeah, taking a break and then putting in effort and changing what you're doing and not staying consistent with it. Consistent with the method you're using. Like if it's not working, change it.
Yeah. No, literally last episode, you're like, put in effort. Like try, unlike me.
Yes.
No, but I definitely agree with everything you've said. I do on my About Me page, I have like people ask me shifting tips for some reason, even though I've never shifted. I'm like, why are you asking me? Probably because big creators who have shifted before don't give out shifting tips.
True.
I'm being honest. But anyway, so basically a lot of the ones I'm going to say here are on there, or I might say other things that are not on there, vice versa anyway. But I do like actually trying, like if you like don't feel like you're gonna put in a lot of effort and you just are gonna put on a subliminal and go to sleep, don't try. It's not worth it unless you like falling asleep to subliminals. But don't do it. It's not worth it. You're literally wasting your energy that you could use for another night. Um unless I there are sometimes where I put on subliminals just to fall asleep because they are really relaxing. So if you do that, I totally see why you do it.
But I'd say use different subliminals for going to sleep.
Yeah.
Shifting, because otherwise when you go to shift, you're gonna get too sleepy.
Yeah.
Able to focus.
I do also with the break, I do heavily agree. I would say try taking a long break at least once. It is so nice. Like I I took about, I would say probably 3 week, like to almost like month break from shifting. And it was, I like obviously I missed it because I was on TikTok but I was also moving and a lot was going on with my life. And I also wasn't seeing a ton of angel numbers, but during my break, I started to see more angel numbers again. And it was really nice to like gain my energy back and to like get back into it, because then whenever I started trying again, I was starting to see progress. Like it was nice and it felt really refreshing. Like obviously you're gonna miss it, you're gonna think about your DR, but whenever it just feels nice to not have to worry about it for like that long period of time. So I say taking long breaks is worth it.
In the beginning, when I first, sorry if you can hear my dog snoring, by the way. Just
Can't hear him.
okay. He's really loud, so I was just wondering. But in the beginning, I was really obsessed with it. Like that was on the time I was online school. And while I was like on my computer, just in class, that's all I would think about is shifting.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not healthy necessarily. So I took a break. And that kind of calmed down the obsession of thinking about it all the time. And then I was able to focus more on myself. And then also set aside time where I'd put effort into it. Because that, believe it or not, I did put in effort at some point. That goes back to how breaks do help. Because I was able to calm down that obsession and focus it more, and rather than just thinking about it all the time.
Yeah, I do agree that like if you think about other stuff, like it's also nice to like to give your mind a break from thinking about only your DR. Because there was a point where I was only thinking about it, and even like at my job and things like that. But once I went back to college for a second semester at the beginning of this year, if you followed me then before my account got like big from like student inspirations, I love you. Anyway, but it was like it gave my mind like a good like breather to not only think about my DR, to think about college, to think about friends, things like that. Whenever you give your mind a break or anything like a break and then get back into it, I noticed that you kind of like see progress, or at least I did, at least. And I know a couple other people are like that as well. So I say give it a chance.
Give it a try.
Give it the good old college try.
So much.
Anyway, trying different methods. We're just gonna I'm just gonna like briefly touch on this. Obviously, I said in the beginning, if you want to hear more about different methods and stuff like that, and misinformation, check out the other episode with Olivia, the craziest misinformation that Shift Talk made us believe in.
That was last week's episode. No,
2 weeks ago.
Episode 2 weeks ago.
But you should also check out last week's episode, Do We Miss Draco Talk with Athena.
Yeah.
Anyway, welcome to me promoting my podcast. Do you like my TikTok post, or I'm like any normal Shift Talk post, and it was like, so why don't you give me one? And the fact that you said it was so true.
Because you're like, here's my podcast.
Yeah, any chance I have anything, like I have a chance to like promote anything that I've worked on, I'm like, yeah, because I should have added like anything in my link tree as well, because I love promoting like the suit inspirations and like superhero backstories and like stuff like that.
It's okay.
Anyway, but going back to what I was originally talking about.
Okay.
I do think that you should, if you feel it is not working for you, at least I would say, depending on how often you try to shift, if you try every day, only try it for about 2 weeks. If you don't try every day, let's say you only try on weekends, I would say try it for about a month. I think it really depends on how often you try. Or if you only try it like sporadically, like I would say give it like a couple weeks to try something and then go and try something else, or mix two methods together, mix methods together, or make your own method, but do not name it and then put it on TikTok and wait for it to get popular. That is the dumbest shit ever.
So just because, with a certain method, just because you are not getting symptoms doesn't mean it's not going to work for you though. And
yes.
Symptoms can be very encouraging and very like a way to like validate that you're going to go there, but you don't need them to shift at all. They're just there.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean it's not working.
Your dog got up. I just saw his butt. He's now in the camera. Doggy.
You want to be in a podcast?
Winston, what is your opinion?
Winston has shifted many times. My brother and I were talking, and we were like, what if we shifted and then there was just a Winston in every reality? Just Winston.
Were you the person I was talking to where I was like, what if we shifted to a reality where Harambe was still alive?
Yes, because I talked to you about my brother saying that he was going to shift as a gorilla into my reality.
Did you tell him my Harambe idea?
No, I didn't. I have to, though. But okay, back on track.
But I definitely agree with the symptoms. I think that I think it's really nice and rewarding to get symptoms. But in reality, I think symptoms is generally just your body falling asleep. Let's be real. Depending on what the symptoms are. But another thing, in my opinion, that is like by far helped me the most was doing like shadow work. And if you don't know what like doing shadow work is, because I've said this a couple times and people are like, what is shadow work? And I'm like, wait, I thought it was like, well, no. Basically, it means like getting in touch with like your repressed side or your dark side. So you're basically working out like, okay, this is gonna sound weird if you like don't get like working like the kinks out of like the like your problems. Yeah. It's like working like the knots out of your hair. Like that's what I was like trying to say. So it's basically like diving into your unconscious side, like things like that. If you're like into psychology, it's basically like the idea of Freud's idea of like id, ego, and super ego. There we go. I couldn't remember. It's like that idea. But that's what it is. And I'm so for it. Like obviously there are tons of ways to do shadow work. I know a lot of people like doing shadow work, like journal questions, but I'm not for that. So it was a lot of like me figuring out who I wanted to be and like changing stuff like that, or me cutting off friends that like I weren't like helping me or benefiting me.
Is that what you said? I cut off people that I'm gonna kill them.
But I'm so for like originally I saw a couple posts saying that people needed to do shadow work in order to shift, and at first I was like, that's baloney. And ever since I did a good amount of it, and I'm like, yeah, I believe it. I like fully believe that you need to do like a good chunk of shadow work in order to shift. Like obviously like I've been on like a spiritual journey, like a spiritual awakening, I guess is a better way to put it, because I've gotten super into spirituality and stuff like that, like crystals, seeing angel numbers, tarot, things like that. But I know some people are not super into spirituality, but I guess shifting is like hardcore like a spiritual topic. But it's also super science heavy as well.
The science side to it. Like
Yeah.
not everybody believes in the spirituality
Yeah.
side. And that's okay. You don't have to believe in the spiritual part of it, because it can be backed in science ways.
Because I mean, technically, I talked about this in the episode with Estelle, the multiverse theory versus the perspective theory. It's the second episode. Go check it out. I talk about, I guess I'm more scientific whenever it comes down to the part like of shifting in general. Um, I get really scientific with it about how like it doesn't, there are things that don't really make sense science wise, but like I guess like you can, I don't know how to phrase this. Um, there are a lot of spiritual things with shifting, but in my opinion, I would view it as more of a science. Like whenever we try to break it down to a science, it's more of like a heavy science thing. But for now, I'm just going to leave it as a spiritual thing because there's not enough evidence to back anything up, because it's a lot of it is just theories and we have no evidence of anything. So yeah, I wish I would have said that in that episode. That's so irritating. um but I guess I just wasn't thinking about it. What are some more things that have helped you on your journey?
If you couldn't tell, this episode is very thrown together last minute. Like, so is there anything else you want to add?
No, literally like the last 4 episodes, I'm like, so no, okay. The first 3 were super well planned. And from me, or from Athena and you, and then this one, literally there was no plan for yours. Like we just kind of went off the rails and talked. Athena and I it took us forever to figure out what we were going to talk about. It took us like 40 minutes. Also, we kept getting off track. So
okay. So tips. Honestly, not trying every night.
that goes along with like breaks.
Okay, shut the fuck up. All right.
I'm trying to remember what I said in my like about me. Oh, I think I said like intention, but like intention is hard. Like, how do I know when to put intention in?
A thing I like to say when I like shift, actually I have it in my little affirmations thing, and
I don't chase, I attract.
What belongs to me will simply find me. No, I'm just fine. But it's, I'm expanding my consciousness and becoming aware of my desired reality.
Oh yeah, I think you told me that. I like that.
I have a little like
Yep.
daily affirmations thing in my script, and I'll say them. I'm a master shifter. I'm expanding my consciousness and becoming aware of my desired reality. I have shifted. I am powerful. I said I am strong. I am worth it, and I am okay. I think those are nice for shifting, to feel safe when you're shifting as well. Because like I've heard some people say that it can be scary for your first time shifting. So
I know that I like whenever, or someone said that you should say like, or I have shifted and then I am shifting. Like I like saying stuff like that. Like at the beginning I say I am shifting, and then towards the end of like trying something I say I have shifted. So anything like that. It just, I don't know how to, I don't know what I'm like trying to say. I don't know. I like saying stuff like that. Like those are like, I don't really, I used to say like a shit ton of affirmations, and then I switched to just saying a couple, like stuff like that. Or like I am shifting, I have shifted. I'm a master shifter, shifting is easy. Like really simple ones that are like are straight and to the point.
Problem, sorry.
No, keep going. I'm done.
The problem is when I go to shift, I have the intention of doing the meditation, saying the affirmations, and then shifting. But what I end up wanting to do is just imagining scenarios that are going to play out. And then I forget to say the affirmations, and then I don't listen to the subliminal or the meditation. And I just lay there thinking about things that might happen.
Honestly, one of the times I was super close recently was where I was, you know how I was talking about that shifting hypnosis I was listening to? Or I was listening to that and I didn't feel like doing, because they do like a little exercise where you imagine your wake up scene. I didn't feel like doing that because I'm not a huge fan of my wake up scene in my X-Men DR, but I needed like a good wake up scene, or like I needed some sort of wake up scene for my X-Men DR. So I was like, I don't really want to do that. I was like, so I'll just daydream. And I literally was daydreaming. And then once I knew that they were towards the end, I like stopped daydreaming and I started listening to the meditation again. So I guess I was kind of like, I wasn't super in the zone, but I was like still listening to the meditation because the music is kind of relaxing. Or not music, the subliminals are relaxing. So then as soon as I know that's done, I go back to listening to it. And I was super close tonight. Like I was super, super close.
The thing is, another thing that kind of goes along with the fact that I get distracted and I just stop doing it in general, is I get like really intrusive thoughts when I try to shift, or I just start thinking about things that have happened in my life outside of shifting, or things that I'm scared of happening in the future and stuff. And I just start thinking about random things that have nothing to do with my goal. But it does change when I put headphones in. And I talked about this in our last episode. Go watch it. But
Yes, go watch or listen.
listen,
do whatever.
Don't watch it. But when I put headphones in, those thoughts kind of go away, and I'm way more focused on what I'm doing with shifting, because that's kind of like there's no room for other thoughts just like directly in your head, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I used to be like that, like heavily like that. There was someone told me a really good affirmation, or I saw it somewhere, and I wish I could remember. Oh my god. And someone is probably gonna know it while listening to this, whereas like it's literally the affirmation was something like it's okay that like you're thinking other thoughts, but like I want to shift instead. Like it was something along those lines. Like I've kind of just accepted that it's okay to think other thoughts while I'm trying to shift, but my main goal is trying to shift. And I think my mind knows that now that I've kind of just figured it out that I like my goal is to shift it, and my mind is never going to stop thinking about other things because my mind is like a hamster on a wheel that just keeps going. Like that's just how it is.
Most of my meditations have that in it, like saying that it's okay to have those thoughts, but to try to like focus it back, or to like use your breath as a way to get it away or acknowledge it, and then it's bye-bye, you know.
I think the affirmation was like I acknowledge all other thoughts or something. Like it started with something like that. I wish I could remember. I know people really like meditating. I know you really like meditating.
I say I'm gonna meditate and then I don't fucking meditate.
Well, you talk about it and then I never know if you do or not.
No, in the beginning I did meditate a lot, like sitting on my bed, just like actually meditating. And then I kind of stopped after like Christmas time. But if I do, there's this one thing, it's like a minute, maybe two, and it's a focus thing from Headspace. That works really well to get me focused, and it's only 2 minutes or something like that. But I kind of use the meditation to shift, and I don't even know if that's how you're supposed to do it.
I don't know.
I never knew it, because I've heard like it's you do the meditation, you do your method, then you shift.
That's too long. I'm falling asleep.
Not an episode about methods, so I should shut up.
But yeah, no, we've already talked about that. But what was I gonna say? What was I going to say? It was something about meditating. Oh, about I know Estelle really likes to meditate, or she recently got into meditating. I used to meditate a good amount in like end of 2020, like December. It was a lot of meditating to like talk to like my spirit guides and stuff like that, and just to like relax. It was really nice. I stopped probably like March of this year. I want to go back. Just sometimes meditations are too long and I get tired. That's the only, like sometimes I would do them like in the middle, like not like now because it's kind of late for us while we're filming this, but like sometimes at like 6 p.m. where it's not like too late, but where I'm not too tired and stuff like that. But I do miss meditate. Like I liked meditating, but the problem, like I would always choose a bad time to do it. Oh, I did a cleansing, like a cleansing because it was recommended. And then I literally, like the time afterwards, it felt like one of the times or like all the times I've been really close. Estelle and I talked about this, where a lot of the times where we've been close, you close your eyes and then there's a point where you feel like your eyes are opened while they're closed. And that is the best way to describe it. and Estella described it the same way that I did. And it's the best way to describe, like, your eyes are closed, but it feels like they're open. Like, it feels like there's no weight. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, it feels like whenever you know how you close your eyes, like, you can feel like the weight, like, right on your eyelashes that your eyes are closed.
Yeah.
Whatever I'm talking about, where it feels like they're open, it feels like that they're open and I'm looking at black. Like, and I feel like that they like, but I'm like seeing stuff. Or I'm not seeing stuff, but I'm like seeing black. And like stuff like slowly starts to appear. Like, that's happened a couple times.
Sometimes when I shift, I'm actually the opposite. I feel like really heavy weight on my eyes. Or it's like an uncomfortable feeling that I feel like I have to like put pressure on my eyes.
It's eye cancer. No, just kidding.
Just kidding. Whoa.
I'm kidding. You know how, like, anytime you Google pain, it's like, you have cancer.
No, yeah. 100%.
Anyway, yeah, no, but that's happened a couple times. And that the first time that ever happened to me was after I did like that cleanse meditation that I recommended back in like March on my account.
You're in an elevator and then like there's no elevator anymore, almost.
What?
Like going up?
Yeah, no, I gave it to you and Athena.
The piers or something.
Yeah, no, okay, I think that was the cleansing where you're going up on an elevator. I couldn't finish it because I thought someone was gonna walk in. Wait, finish what you're saying. I'm so sorry.
Like a purpley video.
I think so.
It's like the cover.
Yeah. It's called like negative cleansing or something. I don't know. Yeah. I'd have to find it.
We're talking about the same thing.
Yeah. I gave it to you guys after I talked about it on a live.
Yeah.
Did you ever do it?
I did.
Did you like it?
I did.
No, because you like feel like you're being cleansed. It's a really good video.
You do, yeah.
Maybe I'll put it in my link tree.
You should.
If you guys want it in my link tree,
it might be there.
Say something. I don't know. No, but it's a really good video. And then literally the night after I like cleansed myself, I had that feeling, and then I like saw things and I was like, ugh, and then I got scared and I opened my eyes. But like my eyes took a second to open. Like I saw like two like heads like getting close, and I was like, ah! But I was also still when I was.
It's the twins coming to like.
That's because that's what I thought after I did it. After like whenever I finally woke up in the morning, because I was still trying to shift to Harry Potter at the time, and I was like, oh my god, I was like, that was probably the twins. I felt so fucking stupid. But I just got really scared. But yeah, no, I heavily recommend that cleansing if you feel like you need a good cleansing. So, what are some of the best, changing topics just a little bit, what are some of the best shifting tips you've heard from other people? None. Just kidding.
None. Good night.
Because big creators tell us nothing.
They really don't, though. Honestly, it wasn't really a tip. It was more of motivation. But like my friend Alicia, like every night she'd just be like, I am so excited to hear your stories. I am so excited to hear like about the drama, like the love triangle between you and Theo. Like that's what she, and Draco. Like just she kept like hyping it up, and that motivated me. And I know that's not really a tip, but I guess if you can hype yourself up, maybe that could help. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Like it's like the little stuff that like keeps people motivated, I feel like, you know, like obviously it's the idea of meeting like your comfort characters, your favorite characters, your love interests, anything like that, but it's like the little interaction, like seeing them laugh or like touching them, not like touching them, but like hugging them or like touching their shoulder, making eye contact with them, doing magic, flying on a broomstick, like using your powers, like, and like visiting somewhere, like any, it's like it's like little stuff like that, like, or going to the Avengers Tower for the first time, meeting someone, like it's like little stuff like that. Or it's like also coming back and telling people that you've done it, like you are completing a task that you've been working so hard for. But it's also like, because I know so many people are rooting for you to do this, like you got it. Olivia and I are rooting for you.
Rooting for you.
We were all rooting for you.
I'm so excited to hear your stories. you're gonna watch these podcasts and tell them to me because I'm listening.
Olivia's DMs are not open on TikTok. Fun fact. So anytime I have to tag her in videos, I cannot send them to her on a TikTok.
Yeah.
But a fun fact, actually really, really sad fact.
I thought you were saying something more.
No, that was it. I was gonna say that, but I couldn't think of it. No, literally like 4 people, you know, the thing I tagged you in about Twilight, like the clown.
Yeah.
Like 5 people liked it.
Like having those people there telling you like they're excited for you helps a lot.
Yeah.
If you don't have anyone, once again, we're here. We're excited.
Yeah. Be our friends. But we're cool.
Like I'm personally so excited to be able to tell the group chat.
Yes.
We shifted because we have some people in the group chat, like one person I think that said they shifted and did not give me enough information.
Well, there was like, I think they gave like a good amount of info about like their Harry Potter DR, but then I think they went somewhere else and told us nothing, and I was like, what?
Yeah. But I'm so excited to tell the group chat, and I'm so excited to tell you.
Yes.
Like one day I'm gonna actually answer your Snapchat, and it's gonna be that I shifted.
I know. I am so excited to like. Obviously, I am like I've talked about this on the podcast, and it was literally on the podcast with you and I, where I'm like the mom of the group chat. So I will motivate so many people if I like in the group chat if I say that I've done it, and then that is worth it, and then obviously I get to tell like I realized like today, well, you and I, like before we film this, that whenever I shift, there's a lot of stuff I have to do. I have to fix my about me. I have to post on TikTok. I have to tell the group chat. And then I have to tell all my immediate, like super close mutuals that I did it. And then, because obviously I pre-filmed videos, like, you know how everyone has those. But I realized one of them has like a Harry Potter sound. And currently I'm trying to shift to X-Men. So if I shift to X-Men, I have to put in like the corner saying, hey, it was not the Harry Potter. Because I still had the mindset that I was only going to go to Harry Potter. Jeez. But there's like so much stuff. And obviously I want to be like, hey, I want to answer as many questions as I can. But like, and then I want to be like, hey, I plan on doing this, and this. Like, I don't know. But obviously I'm still going to be super excited no matter what. And then I have to like absorb it all. Like, what?
Give yourself a minute, but tell me first.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know how I'll react like whenever I come back, because I'm the first time I go, like each DR is different, but my X-Men DR is, I think I don't plan on staying there for very long the first time because a lot happens. So I'm planning on only staying there for like max. I don't know how long the storyline is. I think max only for like a month, which is like an hour here. Only because the time moves way differently in X-Men universe. Anyone who's not an X-Men fan, every other DR I have is different timing. But because so then I'll have a month's worth of stuff, but I'll only be gone for an hour. So then I'll probably wake up in the middle of the night and be like, guys, I did it.
I'm shifting to Harry Potter first, as you know. And when I wake up, I feel like I'm gonna cry, honestly, because I love these people so much. And I haven't and that's like the reality of it. You have these connections with them right now through just reading and watching, but like you're gonna like make that real. And I think that's crazy.
I love hearing about people's like first time like shifting, like their like what happened the first time, because for example, like you know how Court said she was on the train, she talked about what had happened. Like she said she just like kept staring at everyone. And then Christine, who's Sectum Sempris, that's a fantastic username. I love that username. Anyway, she, the first time she ever shifted, currently she has a Marauders DR, but before that she had a Golden Trio DR. And she said she woke up in the Ravenclaw Tower, and she said she just kept feeling like all the bed stuff, and then everyone walked in. She just kept fucking around with all the magic. Like, honestly, I would too. Like,
can you imagine being able to use magic for the first time?
I'm so excited for that whenever I eventually decide to go back to Harry Potter.
Like, you literally just have a wand and you can do it.
Well, obviously.
Accio Draco Malfoy. And then he just
What the fuck? Shout out to the little girl that I probably scarred at my job the other day, because we were giving out candy at Spirit, and she was wearing like Slytherin stuff, and my coworker was like, "Can you give me like a spell so you can get a piece of candy?" And she said expecto. I don't know. Okay, she like messed up the spell. I think she said expecto matronum, and we're like, okay. And I was like, why did she not say accio? Accio candy, you fucking dumbass bitch. Like, I didn't say that. I was like, why did she not say accio? And she looked at me and she was like, and literally my coworker right next to me is fucking losing it.
I can't. Because the offended look on your face. Like, why didn't she say
Accio?
Idiot.
I know. All I said was, I didn't actually say the idiot. Like, I didn't swear at her because she's a child. But like, I was like, why didn't you say accio? And she's like, I was like, okay. I was like, fake fan.
fake fan. Fake Slytherin.
Yeah, fake Slytherin. Right here. No, she's probably like 10. What were we talking about? Oh no, waking up in DRs for the first time. The only thing, we talked about wake up scenes a little bit in Sydney's episode, which is scripting traumatic events even worth it. We talked like what we talked about was like how people just immediately go and do stuff, like how people, I think you said this as well, like where people wake up and then literally 10 minutes later go and fight. I'm like, what? How do people just do that?
No, I need a minute to sit down. I need to take a deep breath. And
so in that episode we talked about like having like breather, making sure you're okay, and making sure that like your wake up scene is really descriptive. The other thing I'm like nervous about is my wake up scene in my X-Men DR. I am like alone, like by myself. Like I'm by myself for about a day because I'm in my apartment. So the other thing I'm nervous about is I'm literally by myself. I get to like fuck around with my like abilities, but then I didn't script how I would meet Charles and Eric at all. I just said that we would meet the next day and that they would recruit me. Like, I'm like scared as fuck.
No, I'd be scared to wake up in the apartment alone.
I made the apartment really nice. You want to see it after this?
Sure. But I'd be scared. I mean, I don't know if I've talked about this in the other podcast, but in my Harry Potter DR, my friend Lorenzo is going to be waking me up in my house.
Sorry, I thought about
what?
Sorry, I thought about something that is not related to you. Keep going.
Okay, but stop it, Rain. No.
Okay.
But Lorenzo, he is from a fanfic for anyone who has read Filthy. But he's gonna be waking me up in my house, and I script he's my best friend, so I don't think he'd be like shocked seeing me like, what the fuck is happening? What is happening, Ring?
Olivia, wake up.
You good?
Mom, I threw up.
Oh my god. Okay, you can continue with whatever you're saying, because I'm done with your
done. I quit.
I quit.
Anyway. I talked about in the other episode about how don't die. She did. Heart emoji. Anyway. No, but obviously in the episode I talked about how I woke up in my other DRs briefly. But I think it's just like the reason why I didn't script how I'd meet them is because I couldn't come up with anything, or I wanted to make it natural, but I am scared. So I hope everything goes like I did script that my subconscious will fill in the desires the way I want it to. And like obviously your subconscious is always gonna fill it in the way you want it to, but like just to make sure, I'm just gonna script it in just in case. I made that like wake up scene pretty descriptive. just because I am going to be alone. I like scripted there was like a clock right next to me, and then it would have like the day, like the date. I don't know if like clocks did or I think maybe I said like a calendar wasn't. I said something about a calendar, I think, but I said that there was a clock right next to me that had the time, and stuff like that. So like I wouldn't be like scared.
Yeah. I didn't even think about adding like a date or clock or anything. Dude, I'm just waking up and going to platform 9 3/4. I'm eating breakfast first, but then I'm going.
Well, I did that because it's literally 1962. So, but literally any other DR. Well, my Harry Potter DR has a specific date and year. My Marvel one only has, it could be 2011. No, I think I scripted it was 2012. But I don't know what month it is. I guess I'll figure it out whenever I go there. But my Harry Potter one is the day of the Chai Wizard tournament, which Sydney and I talked about how similar our wake up scene was. And then this one is just I know it's 1962, which because it takes place around the Cuban Missile Crisis. Which if you don't know what that is, why do you not know what that is? That means you're either 10 or you did not pay attention in history class. So it takes place around the Cuban Missile Crisis. And then like they mentioned the date once or twice, or I think in that, and also the Cuban Missile Crisis happened in like sometime in October, so it's either like early October or it has to be like September whenever I go. So it'll be like around the time now. It's just 80 years ago. Wait, is that correct? Yeah, 80 years. I'm like, damn, I'm really blasting 80 years in the past.
Wait, what was the year?
Wait, no, 60. 60 years in the past.
Oh, my parents are not 80 years old.
Your parents were born in the 60s? Yeah. Damn.
Yeah, my mom was born in 65.
Yeah, no. I don't know what made me think, because I was like, yeah, 40 plus 20 is 80. Basic math has left the podcast.
You could be a baby boomer.
Yeah, no, but I'm literally going 60 years in the past. This is my oldest DR. Like I'm going farthest in the past. But that's why I made it like kind of scripted, because I don't have my phone or anything. Because phones aren't like handheld phones are not a thing. So
the farthest back DR that I have is going to be rain.
Wow, that's gonna be a blast.
It'll be so fun. Got the
honestly, I'm kind of looking forward to my DRs without a phone.
My Hogwarts one doesn't have phones.
None of my DRs will have phones except for the MCU. So
far, same, because in the 100, I mean, there's technology, but there's no real phones in that. Because it's like science and it's in space, and then that's also on the ground, but there's no phones. Then Vampire Diaries would probably older phones though, not old, but not new. But yeah, Rain won't have any phones.
Yeah, obviously. If you guys don't know what the show Rain is, it takes place in like the 1700s.
More 1600s.
I wasn't sure if it was 17 or 16.
16.
14. No, just kidding. But it's super old.
Super old.
I think the only other my DC Universe script will have phones whenever I eventually make it. My Fame DR whenever I make it, obviously. And then I think that's it. Every other DR will not have phones, but may have technology. Because my X-Men one, it takes place in the 60s, too old. Harry Potter is it has technology, but wizards don't have phones. And then Marauders is we're in the 70s. And then my Six of Crows one, obviously there's no we have some technology to a point, but no phones. And then my fantasy one, no.
Oh yeah, I forgot we're both making fantasy DRs.
I can't wait for that. but I haven't been in a mood to like script for it.
Well,
And
that requires world building, so.
yeah. And then I think I talked about this in the Sydney episode or the Sydney's episode where I that's about going to Mass Effect, which is a video game. That is so much technology, but there is no phones because it's like 2121 or something. Like basically like 100 years in the future. So it's like a shit ton of technology. But like no phones. So yeah. So cheer.
I don't mind though, for at least for the Hogwarts one.
Yeah, like a lot of them you're going to be busy doing other stuff.
Well, I'm not.
All right. Do you have any last thoughts or any last things you want to mention?
No.
No. Yeah, bye. No. This is your reminder that if you listen to this episode all the way through that you are shifting tonight. This episode only gives off good vibes only. Yep. Hearts and kisses. Or hugs and kisses. Why not hearts and kisses? I hope you guys like if you guys didn't know anything, if you guys like hopefully you guys took some like good information from this episode. Or maybe you guys are like, wow, these two bitches are stupid. And I'm like, wow, thanks.
You're not wrong.
Or wow, this information sucks. I'm like, yeah, I know. Anyway. But in reality of just like do what's best for you. Like don't do information or anything because everyone else is doing it. If it doesn't work for you, don't do it or stop what you're doing or change it. Anyway, listen to next week's episode. Next week.
Okay.
But for real, check out next week's episode. Next week.
Bye.
Bye. Goodbye.
Bye.
I was gonna like actually close out, be like bye, and I was like, all right, goodbye.